Welcome along to the Racing Post Cricket World Cup show. I'm Bruce Millington and I'm joined by Joe Champion and Liam Flynn from the Racing Post Cricket Desk, as well as Coral's John Hill with all the odds, and hopefully the lads have got plenty of winners for the upcoming batch of group games. There are 6, and before we get stuck into them, I will just get the latest thoughts on the tournament from the lads. What has your takeout been from what we've seen in the last couple of days? Joe Champ?
Yeah, England were brilliant again, weren't they? But Afghanistan didn't put up much fight. I mean, Rashid Khan's their main man, but he got carted around by Owen Morgan, and one of the most phenomenal displays of batting from someone with a bad back that you'll ever see. Yeah, so England still very much the front runners alongside India, who have looked very good so far. And
if you had to choose between one of those right now, who would you go for?
I think I'd go for England now. I think India have been well backed and over the last couple of weeks because they have played well, but I think we'll see more from England when they come up against better sides. They haven't really played any top teams yet, and yeah, we're just waiting to see what they can do against these better teams.
Liam, any fresh thoughts from you?
Well, yeah, firstly, England terrific. I mean, Owen Morgan breathtaking at 17-6, and of course that was without Jason Roy in the side as well, one of England's more accomplished batsmen. I'd say the game that I sort of took the most out of last few days was the West Indies-Bangladesh match. I mean, I think that the Windies are in serious trouble now. I mean, that's, what, 1 win in 5, actually have fewer points than Sri Lanka, who a lot of people were looking to back to finish bottom. Very odd games, 13-ball duck from Chris Gale, and their pace attack didn't really seem to click into gear, and I think the Bangladesh are about 7-1 now to make the semi-finals, which maybe, if you're looking, I think they're probably the most likely side to break into that top 4. They've got games against Afghanistan and Pakistan remaining, which you'd expect them to beat Afghanistan, and when it comes to that Pakistan game, it really does depend which side turns up. So I definitely think, yeah, there's a little bit of value in them, about 7-1 to make.
Oh, by the way, I'm banning the phrase, you never know which Pakistan are going to turn up, right? Because we all know that, okay? John, any fresh thoughts from you? Who do you fancy at this stage?
I'm still with England, not changing there. But there's very little between England and India in the betting now. 13-8 England, 15-8 India. So, not much separating them. I think we'll all agree that that would be a brilliant final if we got that. Be a bit explosive. Australia third best at 3-1, and then there's a big gap between the rest. So
price of New Zealand now?
They're 7-1. 7-1.
I must say, I'd rather be on New Zealand at 7s than the Aussies at 3s. What do you think, John?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, twice the price there. The draw, I guess, could be crucial in terms of the semi-final, but I think we know now, don't we, the top 4? I think it'd be a big surprise if it wasn't the 4 that's in there now.
There's a lot of cricket to be played.
There is a lot of cricket.
Given we think we know. I mean, I agree with you, that does feel like the top 4, but there's a hell of a lot of games left if the top 4 is a fait accompli. But no doubt there are plenty of great bets lurking within there. So we'll do the first game on Thursday. It takes place at Trent Bridge, 10:30, weather permitting. I think the weather's getting a little better for the next few days, so we'll work on the basis that rain is going to leave us well alone. It's Australia versus Bangladesh. Coral bet as follows, John.
Yeah, 1-6, Australia, 4-1. Bangladesh, and Liam talked about Bangladesh chances. This is a huge game for them. If they just could pull off one victory against one of those top 4, all of a sudden they'll have a great opportunity, won't they, doing that? So, it's a huge game for Bangladesh, and I think they've been, outside of the big dogs, they've been the team that I've been most impressed with in this tournament. Now, it was a brilliant win against West Indies to chase down that total. They didn't do it the easy way, did they? So, they're a very, very good side. They've got depth in their batting lineup, and the bowling's improved as well. So, maybe a few people might be tempted by that 4-1 on them to beat Australia here.
Does that include you?
No.
What's your bet then?
I think Australia will win. I'll be looking at the top run scorer market. I think Aaron Finch is in brilliant form at the moment. I can see him getting him off to a flying start again, and I'll take him top bat. You'll
go Finch, yeah, because of Warner. I mean, we've talked about it before. He's getting runs, but not in any sort of style, Joe. He looks a completely different player, doesn't he?
Yeah, Warner looks in bad nick. I know he got that 100 against Pakistan, but he was very fortunate to get that as well. He was dropped a couple of times, and yeah, I agree with John. I think Aaron Finch, he's the main man. He's taken. He was poor during the Aussie domestic season, but he's put that behind him now, and he's he's got a couple of 50s and 153 in his last game. So yeah, Finch top bat's one I like. Talked about the Bangladeshi's improved bowling. I also quite like Mohammad Saifuddin to be top Bangladesh wicket taker at 7-2. He's got 9 wickets in the tournament, and this is a pitch where seamers have taken wickets, and Australia have generally struggled against seam bowling, English conditions, and it's probably between Saifuddin and Mustafizur, to see who's top Bangladesh seamer, and I suspect that yeah, it'll probably be one of the two. I'll take Saifuddin.
Liam, what's your view on this one?
My bet for this game would, I think, would be Steve Smith to score 44 runs or more. I think it's just about a shade of odds on. I mean, all the attention has been on David Warner and Aaron Finch, they've been putting on big scores, but Steve Smith, he's been quietly going about his business very well. Scored 73 against West Indies at this venue at Trent Bridge, 69 against India, 73 against Sri Lanka. Steady batsman, accomplished sort of a number 3 or 4. His temperament's been very good. I mean, I know Virat Kohli, obviously this week was silencing fans who were giving him a bit of stick, but he's he's let his cricket do the talking. And I think Bangladesh's bowling is probably their weakest area. We said that they've come a long way, but I mean they allowed England's top 4 to, I know this is England we're talking about, but they did allow them to amass well over 200 runs. So I think, yeah, Steve Smith to score 44 runs or more.
And while the bowlers have had a bit of a renaissance during this tournament, Liam, Trent Bridge is one of the more batting-friendly strips, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, you'd say so. I believe the England-Pakistan game is still the highest scoring match at this World Cup, and obviously that was at Trent Bridge, so yeah.
OK, 2 votes for Finch, 1 for Smith, and who's your bowler again?
Saifuddin.
That's it. Right then, Friday, 10:30 at Headingley, England versus Sri Lanka. And I should think, John, England really short here, aren't they?
Yeah, they are indeed. 1 to 12. Sri Lanka 8 to 1.
OK, right then, Joe, away you go. What's going to happen here?
Should be a simple England win, really. We talked about Afghanistan, probably the worst side in the tournament. Sri Lanka, probably second worst. They've been fortunate to get a couple of no results, really, which has seen them. I think they're 6th or 7th in the table now. That's probably flattering, really, to be honest. We talked about England's batting being awesome the other day, and I just don't see any real threat from the Sri Lankan bowlers. You've got, Malingo's well past his prime, and they just don't seem to have wicket takers in their ranks. So you can expect England on a high-scoring ground like Headingley. I think over the last 5 years, the average score batting first, if England do bat first, has been 298, and you expect this England team to go higher than that. They could be eyeing 400. They nearly did it the other day, and so if they win the toss and decide to bat, then expect.
Well, they won't.
To go
No
well.
one has done that yet, have they? No one bats when they win the toss. Everyone inserts, don't they? It's 10:30
Yeah,
starts. It's too early. I mean, the only way they're going to bat first is if Sri Lanka win the toss, surely.
Well, Sri Lanka would be, they can put England in if they like, but they could really rack up a big score here, I think. So yeah, that's interesting as an angle. If
So what's the bet then?
well, I've stayed away from that. I've just gone for top Sri Lankan run scorer as the best bet, and that's Dimmu Karunaratne. I've chosen to pick loads of players with difficult to pronounce names. Yeah, he's been the top man for Sri Lanka with the bat. He scored a couple of 50s in the warm-ups, and he's got a 52 not out and a 97 in his last match in this World Cup. So while England have these great seam bowlers, if he can just get through that early spell from Jofra Archer and Mark Wood, then he could probably make a decent score whilst all the others try and bat round him.
Are they great seam bowlers yet?
I think Archer's on the cusp of
I
being
think Archer
great,
probably will be. I'm not sure.
and Mark Wood's having a great World Cup.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've still got a slight concern about England's attack. Liam, what's going to happen? England-Sri Lanka?
Well, yeah, I think it will be a straightforward England win, and actually the tournament shaped up quite nicely for England in the sense they they played the big guns, India, Australia, and New Zealand towards the end, just to some good preparation really going into the knockout stages. For this game, I talk about the seam attack really. I like the look of Chris Woakes actually as top England wicket taker in this match. Headingley is a pretty good venue for the seamers who like to move the ball, especially if it seems there's going to be a bit of cloud cover in this one. I think Woakes can capitalise. He's bowled pretty well this tournament. I mean, he hasn't been getting the wickets so far, but he had an economy of 4.56 in that high-scoring game of Afghanistan, 1 for 16 against the West Indies, and he actually took a 5-wicket haul at Headingley against Pakistan in the ODI series before the World Cup.
Okay, and John, what do you like here?
Yeah, I'm taking Archer 5-2 top England ball. I think he could clean up the tail here. They started well, Sri Lanka, batting against Australia, didn't they? They looked like they were in the game, and all of a sudden it just went wrong. So I think Archer could clean up that tail pretty quickly. So
He's been really impressive, hasn't he?
he has, and that's what you've got to do, haven't you? Really, clear up the tail quickly, and get the team off to a good start. Especially if they're bowling first, hopefully, can get a couple of early wickets and put them on the front foot early.
Excellent. Okay, we'll be back with India v Afghanistan next.
Don't bet silly, bet savvy. Join Coral's Bet and Get Club and get a free £5 bet every Sunday. The smart money's on Coral.
Right, let's look ahead to 2 games taking place on Saturday. First up, 10:30 a.m. at Southampton. India versus Afghanistan, and for the third game running, we've got a very short favourite, John. How do Coral bet on this one?
Not going to get rich here, guys, I'm afraid. 1-25, India, Afghanistan 10-1.
And Liam, kick us off with a juicy bet on this game.
I'd say Yuzvendra Chahal, top India wicket taker, about 10-3, I think. I mean, the market obviously favours Jasprit Bumrah for obvious reasons, and Shami, I think, is coming in for Kumar, but Chahal represents value, definitely. Afghanistan sort of have a tendency to lose wickets rapidly in the middle order, and I could see him coming in and mopping up towards the end. He did exactly that in India's opening game against South Africa, taking 451 at this venue in Southampton. And Afghanistan's third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh and eighth batsmen scored only 29 runs between them against South Africa. So I think their middle order is definitely susceptible, especially to leg spin as well, as shown by Adil Rashid's 3 wickets against them.
Jamal's been one of the best spinners in the tournament so far, hasn't he?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think he's probably a bit of value to finish top wicket taker.
Yeah, would you say, are you slightly surprised that spin hasn't been as dominant as we might have thought?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there was a lot of talk, especially about Adil Rashid as well. Leg spinners were going to sort of have this sort of tournament renaissance as such, but it hasn't happened. I mean, the best bowlers in the tournament being the likes of sort of Stark, Cummins and Archer so far, so it has been surprising.
And pitching it in short has been the in vogue tactic, hasn't it? John, who do you like here?
I'll just be taking runs, really. I think what India could score here if they bat first, if they're in early. The way Afghanistan fielded against England, it was absolutely village cricket, wasn't it? Rashid's Khan figures look like my figures at the local Central Lancashire League. Look, India bat first. I think Kohli's going to have a big day. He's had a decent tournament without being explosive so far, Kohli. Sharma took all the headlines yesterday, so I think we're due a big knock from Virat Kohli.
The only thing I'd say about India is it's almost like they will never score 400 because they have this set tempo, don't they? They never seem to go absolutely bananas early on, and they'll get to kind of 280 with 8 overs to go, and then push into the mid 300s. But it's almost like they've got this really strict formula and they don't seem to veer from that.
It's working though, isn't it?
Well, it is, yeah.
And they've got explosive players finishing innings. Pandya, Dhoni, they can see out innings if they get going. So I don't think we've seen the best of them yet, and they've not been beaten. So I think they're a very dangerous team, and the team that England should be most fearful of for me.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about that. Joe, do you like anything here?
Yeah, I mean, I was agreeing with Liam when it comes to Yuzvendra Chahal. I think he'll play a big role in this, but yeah, just a shout out to Rohit Sharma, who really has been the star of the tournament with the bat for me. We talked about, you said India have got this set tempo, but he can really go. I mean, I thought he was going to really go the other day, and he got to his 100 and then started to ramp it up a bit, and then got out to a silly shot, and he was absolutely furious with himself for that. Yeah, you could see Rohit Sharma getting a double 100 here. It's that sort of game for him where he's just going to he'll start slowly sort of run a ball, speed up, and then really go for it if he gets the chance. So Rohit Sharma to score a century might not be the worst bet.
I need someone to go big. I think I've gone highest tournament innings at over 183. No one's really got near that. I've had a couple of 150s and then it's all gone a bit wrong, hasn't it? But it hasn't been the batsman's paradise we just thought it was. But there's signs that the big guns are starting to spark into life. The other game on Saturday takes place at Old Trafford. It's West Indies versus New Zealand. A little bit closer in the betting, but I guess New Zealand favs here, aren't they, John?
Yeah, they're 8-13, New Zealand. Big game really for West Indies. They're 6-5. Probably have to win this now, West Indies, don't they, after their recent defeat. So I think this is one of the best games to look forward to over the next few days.
OK, John will tell us what's going to happen. You can go first.
I think New Zealand win. I think this will help them secure their top 4 placing, so I'll be sticking them into an accumulator. West Indies have shown signs of being dangerous, haven't they, with their ball and attack, but just not quite got the results really to make that show. Yeah,
I get New Zealand are consistent, Joe, aren't they? West Indies more kind of, potentially great, potentially not great. So what do you think will happen?
Yeah, I think you've just got to stick with consistency here, and you can't trust the West Indies to fire. I mean, Chris Gale getting a 13-ball duck, we didn't see that coming, and actually, the rest of the batting order, the top order played quite well. Evan Lewis played well for the first time in a while, and Pooran and Shai Hope are both good players. But
do they have anyone who can go on deep into a century, though? I'm just worried.
I think Shai Hope's probably your man, but he's not one to accelerate later on in the innings. You're looking towards Hetmeyer and Andre Russell. Andre Russell's been very disappointing in this tournament, considering how explosive he was in the IPL. But yeah, I think New Zealand are probably going to win this quite easily, really.
So we've just got 2 votes for New Zealand to win the game and Liam.
Yeah, I'd go with that as well. A couple of bets I like the look of. Firstly, Ross Taylor, top New Zealand run scorer. I think if the Windies' pace attack do click into gear, they might be able to get rid of dislodge Munro or Guptill early on. That could require Taylor to come in and settle a bit. Posted 48 against Afghanistan and 82 against Bangladesh. The other bet I like the look of, maybe a bit unsure because of injury concerns, but Andre Russell, if he does play, man of the match contender potentially. He's one of the most dangerous all-rounders in limited overs cricket. He put in in their best bowling performance against Bangladesh, 1 for 42, figures of 2 for 4 in the opener against Pakistan. And Old Trafford is, as we've seen, a good batting surface, and it could cater to his sort of big hitting approach. I mean, he hit the most sixes in the IPL this season with 52. So yeah, that's one to keep an eye on as well.
Okay, it is last chance for the next two teams we're going to discuss.
Don't bet silly, bet savvy. Join Coral's Bet and Get Club and get a free £5 bet every Sunday. The smart money's on Coral.
Welcome back to the Racing Post Cricket World Cup show. It's Bruce Millington, Joe Champion, Liam Flynn and Coral's John Hill. Two more games to look at, starting on Sunday with the game at Lord's. Pakistan v South Africa, two teams who have had disappointing campaigns and are absolutely desperate for the win. Which way's the market going to go here, John?
We're swinging in South Africa's favour, 4-7 South Africa, 11-8 Pakistan.
Okay, Joe, with that in mind, how should we be approaching this from a betting perspective?
Well, I'm not very keen on South Africa at all, really. For this
They've really been, not rubbish, but
have,
just meh, haven't they?
Well, just the players that you thought were reliable for them, you know. I mean, Hashim Amla's been in dreadful nick for a while now, and yeah, they just don't seem to have much in the middle order. The bowlers have been depleted by injuries, not their fault, but, you know, Lungi and Gidi's been out. Dale Staine's obviously been ruled out. So
they just miss De Villiers, don't they? Basically,
I mean,
they
really need him in that team. I mean, they don't have any explosivity really either. I think that Pakistan might be a bet here, to be honest. They can still keep their tournament alive with a win, and yeah, I'd just lean towards them slightly at the odds.
Yeah, Liam, what's your view?
Well, I like to look Kagiso Rabada, top South Africa wicket taker. I don't think he's been too bad. He's been one of their better performers in this tournament. As you say, there's quite a lot of pressure on him with Ungidi's injury, Stein not being included in the end. And I think, you know, 1 for 36 against Afghanistan, 2 for 39 against India, 2 for 66 against England. You know, they're not bad figures. And he actually finished with 4 for 39 at Lord's, where this game's being played, against England in 2017. And I still have I think they've been okay, but still some slight concerns over those two openers, Ul Haq and Fakhar Zaman. I mean, only once in this tournament have both players reached double figures, so there could be an early wicket up for grabs as well.
Where do you see the match going, Liam?
I'd probably, I'd side with Joe there. I think in terms of value, I'd say Pakistan represent value in this game. I just think South Africa batting beyond Quinton de Kock they haven't got many ideas really.
John, can South Africa ignite their campaign?
I think it's probably a pick-em game, this. So on that basis, you have to fancy Pakistan. But listen, there's been very few bright sparks for Pakistan, but one is Mohammad Amir. I still think he's the best bowler on the planet. I'll be taking him top wicket taker. He's taken Kohli's wicket for the last two major tournaments, so he's their bright spark. He needs to be careful on the wicket, though. He's been warned a few times, I'd say, this tournament, but he is seriously good, Mohammad Amir.
Yeah, the umpire was it Erasmus was getting
he had
very,
two
very...
One more, he'd been out of the attack, so he's got to be careful.
He sure does. And he went round the wicket next ball, didn't he, and took the wicket. So the umpire did him a favour there. Right then, let's look at the Monday game taking place at Southampton. Bangladesh versus Afghanistan. John, what are the match prices from Coral?
We go 1-4 here, Bangladesh, 11-4 Afghanistan.
Liam, what's your idea of the best bet here?
I'd say Gulbadin, top Afghanistan run scorer. I mean, I'd wait for prices, but I mean, Afghanistan, they change their order frequently, so there could be some value in this market. He looked good against England, actually, scored 37 from 28 balls, but the issue with that is obviously he had to fire quite quickly, and then it kind of got to the point almost where it felt like Afghanistan had kind of conceded, accepted defeat, and then consequently the lower order batsmen came in and sort of just set themselves to see out the overs, so he might have had a better chance of finishing top scorer in that game had it swung another way. But he also scored 31 against Australia, 23 against Sri Lanka. Now, they don't sound like massive scores, but in the context of this Afghanistan team, you don't need many more than that really to finish top run scorer. So yeah, I think he's also a danger with the ball as well. So maybe have a look at the man of the match prices.
Did you see the scorecard on Cricinfo yesterday for Mali ladies against Rwanda ladies? I think literally Mali were all out for 8 9 overs. It's
I didn't see that.
extraordinary.
They chased it down.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they comfortably did it. Yeah, I said to someone they ran up a football score. It's extraordinary. It should be more than 8 runs scored here, John. You quite like the idea that Bangladesh at 7-1 could just nick their way into the semi, so presumably you're sweet on them here.
Yeah, they should win, shouldn't they? And I guess the key when you're playing Bangladesh, if you do have to bat second, you're probably looking at some of the top end of the order, aren't you, for the top run scorers. So I don't think Tamim Iqbal's had the great tournament so far, but he's their best batsman, and I'll be hoping Afghanistan get whittled down for 120, and he'll come in and get those in the first 10 overs.
Jolly good, Joe?
Yeah, looking at Bangladesh again, Shakib Al Hassan though for top bat. I mean, he's been brilliant in this tournament so far. So he's been the main man with both bat and ball really for them, and he's high on confidence. So Shakib top bat.
Would he be in your team of the tournament so far?
Definitely so far, yeah.
Yeah. It's been a good tournament, lads, hasn't it? I mean, the weather's kind of left us alone a little bit, albeit the game that's taking place as we talk now has been a bit delayed. Yeah. So, Joe, give me a 1-2 based on what you fancy now. Who's going to win the final and who will be runners-up?
England to beat India.
Liam?
Yeah, I'm going to go the same. England to beat India.
Full house, I'm afraid.
Full house. I think India will just have too much know-how, and I think Bumrah will make the difference. OK, chaps, thank you very much indeed. Another great Racing Post Cricket World Cup show. We are back next Monday to look at the next batch of matches.
Don't bet silly, bet savvy. Join Coral's Bet and Get Club and get a free £5 bet every Sunday. The smart money's on Coral.